This is one of the strangest off seasons I can remember, especially for a completely wide open Eastern Conference. How wide open, you ask? Well, the flagship franchise of the past 4 to 6 years is out of contention next year with Jayson Tatum's Achilles injury.
Celtics have only 2 team fouls. Jalen Brown back in, lost the ball. Anunoby all by himself throws it down. And Tatum is hurt. Tatum is down. He wants a timeout. Tatum in so much pain.
The best player in the conference looks to be on the move, and the best spots for Milwaukee to trade Giannis and get the best return is out west. The team with the best regular season record in the conference last year got dismantled by the Pacers and have some very interesting roster decisions that need to be made. And last, as much as I enjoy this Indiana team, they are not the clear-cut favorites at the top of the conference that we are used to. So yes, the conference is wide open, and I truly believe every team has a chance at making the playoffs, or at least the play-in tournament. How should each team approach this offseason? How do they deal with a wide open conference and their place in it? Do they tank, pack it in, and get ready for the next few seasons, or do they accelerate where they are with some win-now moves? This video is going to break down one big thing for each team and how they should handle it this offseason. Let's start at the bottom with the Washington Wizards and work our way to the Eastern Conference champs in Indiana. First up, the Wizards. Their one question for them is, are you going to do the Wizards thing and overreact? Don't do it. Yes, everything I just said about the conference being wide open and every team can make the play-in, Washington don't believe it. Well, believe it, but don't act like it. What do I mean by this? Well, don't make a dumb win-now move and lose future assets. I actually think this team should go the other way. They have some good veterans on this team that could help other teams chase that play-in spot. The Wizards should cash in with those teams, dump some bets for young guys or draft picks, and let the young players play. Next up are the Hornets. They need to make a decision on LaMelo Ball. Is he their future or a thing of their past? Do they believe he is more of a winning player than a social media darling? He's getting paid like a superstar while being injured a lot and playing like barely a star player. Do they trade him and take a step back, or double down on the LaMelo Ball experience? Now, I have talked extensively about the 76ers in past videos, so I'll keep this one short. Are you trying to win now or build for the future? Win now, trade number 3 for a real player, or keep the pick, do everything in your power to convince another team Paul George and Joel Embiid are great investments. Simple, right? This next team is just plain confusing, and their major question is the same as mine.
Okay.
Are the Brooklyn Nets good? You look at their roster and the answer is a resounding no, but they won 26 games and have a coach the whole league loves. Jorge Fernandez coached his ass off last season, and I think he is the only keeper on the whole team. They should do the same thing I think the Wizards should. Trade their vets for more assets. Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton have a ton of value around the league, and if the Nets can drum up a bidding war for them both, they may be able to get a bigger than normal return. Lean into the assets and youth movement, try and find your dude, and build around one of the best young coaches in the NBA. Do you know what the hell is going on in Toronto?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. Glad we're on the same page. They are paying $154 million next season for a starting 5 of Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl. Yeah. There's their salary cap, in a starting 5 that is maybe 8th best in the conference. Now, their GM Masai Ujiri has pulled off the impossible before by trading for Kawhi Leonard and winning the 2019 title. That has got to be the plan. Go into the season, hope it all clicks and players look good, then trade for an unhappy player. Other than that, I have no idea what to do with this team. Now for my childhood team, the Bulls. My best friend is a diehard Bulls fan, and it's very depressing every year hearing him talk himself into what these guys trot out there. But not since the Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah Bulls have I actually liked what they are trying to do. Dumping Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan was huge for the young guys. They needed to move on from those two vets. Also, getting Josh Giddey may look bad now due to how Alex Caruso is playing for the OKC Thunder, but they made the right decision. What Caruso does isn't as impactful on a mediocre team, and Giddey has shown he is still improving and really freaking good. So the question is, are the Bulls going to steer into the Giddey and Matas Buzelis core? Play fast and hope their two young guys grow into their own Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam type duo. If they could use the number 12 pick and a vet to move up to get another young stud, that would be great for those sad Bulls fans dying for relevance. Now let's head south to the ATL. The Hawks' biggest question is whether or not Trae Young can be the leader on a finals team, because I really like their 2 to 5 starters. Dyson Daniels is a menace on defense and showed much improved offensive skills. Zachary Risache played really well as a rookie and proved he is a legit player. Onyeka Okongwu is a good center and a perfect fit on this team, and then Jalen Johnson, before he went down with a torn labrum, he was playing at an all-star level, and honestly it looked like we were just scratching the surface with this kid. So Hawks front office, you have a young, dynamic starting 4. Is Trae Young the point guard to lead this group, or do you need to look elsewhere? Trading Trae will not be easy. He is a good player with clear deficiencies and very expensive. Not to mention, he is loved in Atlanta. I would stick it out with him, hope he sees the star power in Jalen Johnson and the rest of the starters and evolves as a player, but honestly, I'm not holding my breath on this one. Let's go a bit further south to Florida for the next two. First, the Miami Heat. This franchise does not tear it down to the studs and rebuild, so let's take that off the table. This is a retool on the fly type organization, and honestly, it's worked out pretty damn well for them in the past. The question is, how, when, now do they go? They tried to get Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler at the deadline. Do they try to revisit that option with a different package? Do they try other distressed assets that they believe they can turn around in Heat culture? Trae Young, Ja Morant, Zion Williamson? Can the Heat do it again with some elite level big game hunting? As for the other Florida team in the Orlando Magic, the question is clear. The answer is not so much. They need perimeter scoring and creation. As good as Paolo and Franz Wagner are, they can't be asked to carry so much during these tough postseason games. I made a video about the 3 trades I want to see, and the Magic trading for Anthony Simons was one of them. If they can't do that, they need to explore other options to help their 2 franchise cornerstones out. How big they go will be dependent on how much they believe in Jalen Suggs and Anthony Black. If they don't think those 2 are the answer, then I can see the Magic making a big move, but honestly, that's not how the Magic have behaved in the past, so I would expect a smaller Simons-style move. Now we get into the playoff teams from the past season, and first up is the young and up-and-coming Detroit Pistons. I made a video about how the NBA should be scared of what they are building, and my question and fear for this summer is, are they going to try and speed that process up too much? Like, I don't know, make a play for a Kevin Durant level player. I personally think that is not the way to go. I think they should try to stay similar to last year and get back their 2 injured players in Isaiah Stewart and Jaden Ivey. Those are 2 starter caliber players in the league, and adding them will boost this team enough. Plus, add in the natural development because all of their players are so young. Bring everyone back, play it out, and see what happens at the deadline and next offseason. Don't rush a growing young team. Alright, sorry Milwaukee, I have to say it. It's time to trade Giannis.
Why?
If you wait until the trade deadline or next offseason, his value will be less due to his age and contract. You have the most leverage now. Again, if there was a path to keep him and have a contender, do that. But there isn't. Get as much as you possibly can for one of the all-time great Bucks players. Use the teams he wants to go to bid and drive the price up as high as you can, but you owe it to Giannis to give him a good send-off, like the Blazers did with Damian Lillard. So sorry, Bucks fans. On to the Final Four. The biggest question is the Boston Celtics. They lost their best player for all of the next season, ultimately ending title hopes with this current roster. Their tax bill next season is on track to be more expensive than a Mr. Beast video, so are they going to pay the tax to keep a team that lost in the second round and has their star out for a year? Personally, I find that highly doubtful, so the question is, how do they plan to retool and prepare for 26 and 27 and a healthy Jayson Tatum? Do they dump Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis and let Al Horford walk while hoping for the continued growth from in-house players, or do they see what the finals are and how both teams have flexibility in payroll and on the court? Turning Jaylen Brown into multiple players, a pick or two, and more ability to make moves with a lower salary cap. I believe either option is on the table, and one thing I know is that this team will not look the same over the next 2 years. Now to the team with the best record in the regular season, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They 100% underperformed in the playoffs. You can blame injuries all you want, but even with a fully healthy team, Indiana is still winning that series. Did the Pacers expose a fatal flaw that can't be overcome, or was this a bad matchup with unfortunate luck? This is the question that needs to be answered. Most franchises in this situation pick the latter. Run it back and hope for better luck next year. The only issue with this for the Cavs is that the team is very expensive, especially with Evan Mobley's contract jump after winning Defensive Player of the Year. So, do they try to get ahead of it by flipping Jarrett Allen for younger, cheaper players? Or do the same thing for Darius Garland? Trading Garland would get them a bigger return, as I can think of 8+ teams right now who would trade a ton for him. But is getting back 3 smaller, not as good pieces better than keeping the one really good piece? I would lean towards keeping it together and see where you are at the trade deadline and make a decision then. Next, we have the conference runner-up, which is in a very similar spot as the Cavs. The Knicks are pretty committed to this current team. This team is expensive, but with very clear holes that need to be fixed to take the next step to the NBA Finals, and they took the first step already in firing head coach Tom Thibodeau. Now, was this surprising? No, especially after the article in The Athletic that dropped almost immediately after the Game 6 loss to the Pacers. I don't want to spend time going over Tibbs as a coach, but let's just say I 100% agree with the Knicks' decision. But now we get to the tougher decision. Can you win an NBA title with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns? Both are minus defenders that the Pacers absolutely attacked the whole series, basically showing every other team in the league the blueprint to beat this team. If their answer is yes, then add pieces to improve the bench, maybe trade Josh Hart for a big or a 3-point shooter, and hope for improved defensive play from Brunson and Towns. But if their answer is no, then that opens things up in a big way. Start here. They are not trading Brunson. He is the king of New York and Captain Clutch. There would be a riot outside the Garden if they traded him. So that means trading KAT is the move. And this is the option I mostly agree with. I'm a Karl Anthony Towns fan on offense, but his defense and decision making is really below average, especially when he is the anchor. Would a trade for Kevin Durant do the trick? Could they convince the Bucks that what happened in the Eastern Conference Finals didn't happen and flip KAT for Giannis? Or do they go the other route and trade him for 3 to 4 lesser but good players? I'm going to be honest, I'm glad I'm not Leon Rose and the Knicks front office trying to make these decisions. And finally, we get to the Eastern Conference champs, the Indiana Pacers. Let's start here. Whether they get swept by the Thunder or they win the title, this has been a home run of a season for the Pacers. The question for them is this: do they trust in the natural progression of their young players enough to keep the team the same, or do they package them up with some picks for a more proven veteran? The first step is to re-sign Miles Turner. Keep that guy a Pacer for life. Yes, he has his warts, and he is far from a perfect player, but he is so integral to what they do, they can't let him go. The quiet part about this postseason is the Pacers' bench hasn't been as effective as it was in the regular season, but their depth was so important through the regular season in keeping the starters fresh for this playoff run, you almost don't want to mess with it. I think the odd man out is Benedict Mathurin. He is a really good player and can score with the best of them, but it just hasn't clicked with this team. Do they trust that it will, or do they package him and some picks for a proven vet who can be a consistent threat next season? No matter what they decide, they should and will keep this core together, because what they just did to the East was awesome to watch and makes them the favorites next year. So as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There it is, one big question for each team in the Eastern Conference. These questions and more will be answered this offseason, leading to a wide-open race to get to the finals next season. To see who they will be chasing, check out this video on the Western Conference Finals representative in the Oklahoma City Thunder and how they built this juggernaut of a team. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. It helps us bring this high-quality content to you every single week, and with the NBA being what it is, things change on a dime, so stay tuned for all of the updates that we provide.